Hey, AP Psych. So I'm going to, for a review activity, do something different. I have a notebook presentation that's going to be all images. And what I want to do with you guys is have you watch this video. I'm going to aim for about 10 minutes. I'm assuming that's going to take you potentially twice as long just to go through and do as a review game. I'm showing you an image and then go ahead and pause. And what I want you to do is got a couple options. So you can either just talk it out. What is the image supposed to be? What's the thing? What should it remind you of? What would be an explanation of it? Who's involved with it? Try and expound as much as you can on it as a review activity. I just looked at the presentation that I already had, and in total, I've got like 75 slides. I have absolutely no idea how far I will be able to get through at this point, just doing it like this with you, but I thought it would be something different we can actually do. Definitely missing you guys. I hope you guys are well. Let me know if you need anything. Let me know if you've got anything going on. Let me know if you have questions. I'm around. All right. So welcome to my toddler's playroom. Right now there's Marvel stuff all over the place. There are toys all over there and the wife's Peloton. So I'm going to get going here and try and be productive for a little bit before that toddler yells at me and needs something because he's probably getting close to dinner time. Here we go. I'm going to click to screen share. Minimize this and image review. Here we go. Here's a thing. Look at the thing. What is it? In this case, we have, obviously, I'm hoping you're going to say graph, and I'm going to pause for just a moment so you can pause if need be and tell me, what is this graph? Ideally, you would have said something like, in this case, if it's going to be going over like this, up and over every time we add to the x-axis, we add to the y, it will be a perfect positive, and odds are if it's something like this, it's going to be, we're looking for correlation, right? Whatever this thing has to do with that thing, more of the x, more of the y, it's a perfect, in this case, correlation. If we're looking at this one here and you get little dots all over the place, it's not going to be positive, and I hope you say it's not going to be negative. What would we call it? Ideally, your answer would be zero correlation, no relationship. The closer you get to having nothing relate between the x and the y, in this case, we are going to measure the value of that correlation with the letter r. So this one's going to be a perfect 1 or like 100%. This one would be a 0 if it's nothing whatsoever. And instead of being a positive over there, now we're talking about a, I'm hoping you went with negative, perfect negative correlation. And R in this case will equal a negative 1.0. Right. Let's do this thing. We're going to be talking about doing an actual experiment. So instead of something that will be correlational, if we're going to be doing, and our text used this as an example, we're talking about a couple of different variables. In this case, breast milk versus formula. So we've got little infants here, I assume will be represented by that teeny tiny swirly hair thing. Neither of these will be confounding because it's saying confounding up here. Confounding variables such as, in this case, we're talking about parental intelligence and the environment. Those maybe can't be controlled, so we just want to be aware of them. Or if we're going to be randomizing, hopefully these infants into both groups, one that gets the breast milk, ideally you would probably have some sort of a theory or hypothesis that the breast milk causes. In this case, we're looking at intelligence scores at age 8. We will be, in this case, hopefully randomly assigning them to these groups. How do we establish random assignment? You can say absolutely anything like flipping a coin or a computer is going to generate it or anything so long as you don't get to choose. Everyone should have, you would hope, an equal chance at going into either. And then the two groups we're looking at, if you're going to be participating in the experiment, if your hypothesis is going to be that breast milk causes an increase in intelligence, now you're looking at the experiment group as opposed to who is it that we look at to see if there was any difference or what the opposite's going to be instead of getting the thing you think would cause the change. In this case, that's going to be the independent variable. The other group we're going to look at isn't the experiment, but the, yes, accurate. I'm sure you all got it. Control group for sure. And now if we have an independent, the other variable is going to be the one that we're looking at to see if it becomes different, to see if it changes. So that's going to be called the dependent variable. Okay, a little bit on experimental setup. Here's the deal. I'm going to predict majorly that you're going to have something about an experiment. It's almost certainly, I would predict at this point, based on the little bit that we have about what the AP exam is going to look like, they're going to be asking an experiment and then set up and give you a whole bunch of information in order to ascertain your knowledge of all the different things we've talked about. And it will almost certainly, I think, be through an experiment. So make sure you've got this. Make sure you're good with this. Make sure you're comfortable with this. Look at stuff. Look at examples. Let me know. Check your notes. You need to be able to do all of this. This needs to make sense to you, and you need to be able to articulate it in writing, because your exam is essentially going to be changed into just an FRQ. Okay, if we're talking about different research things, we have a couple of different options. Take a minute, hit pause, and what are the different things we could do? You can see the basic purpose and how you're going to conduct it, and what may be manipulated, or if manipulation is required. Take a minute and look at this great little table. And I just showed you all the information. I was trying to get rid of that watermark. If we do some sort of research, not an experiment, and the idea is just going to be to watch and record, we're doing descriptive research. So you could be doing a case study, one person super in depth. You could be doing naturalistic observation, or you could be doing a survey. Naturalistic observation, you watch, or you go to the best possible environment with naturalistic. If it's just regular observation, because you can't go to Antarctica to watch whatever the animal is going to be, then it's just going to be observation. In this case, what are we manipulating? We're not manipulating anything. We're just looking. We're just looking to see. There's no control. There's nothing messing with the variable. And this weird thing, it's not going to be great, because, you know, like if you've got a case study of one, that doesn't necessarily generalize to everybody. Another option, if we're going to be doing descriptive research, is going to be to do correlational. In this case, you're going to see, does one thing have a relationship with another? Again, neither of these are experimental, because we're not necessarily manipulating or changing anything about a variable, right? In the case of the prior slide, giving one, in the experimental group, breast milk, and giving the other one some sort of formula in order to see who's going to be smarter as a result of those two things. If we're doing a correlation, we're just looking to see, do you get a bunch of people that are all going to have IQs over 140, so they're all going to be geniuses? Then did they also end up getting breast milk? If you don't run the experiment to give them or not give them it, then you're doing correlational research. And it doesn't necessarily have the ability to identify that one thing caused another. In causal research, or in an experiment, I now explain the cause and effect. I know if I give you this pill, that's going to happen. Or if I give you breast milk, you'll be a smarter 8-year-old. Now, that's not actually known that it does that. There's some good data for it. And in this case, now we're totally going to be doing stuff. We're going to manipulate or mess with. Hopefully you want to remove as many confounding variables as possible, and then you're going to completely mess with whatever it is that's going to be the independent variable. The independent variable, you want to make sure you either give them or don't give them, to find out if you end up with some sort of a change. And the change is going to be, you're pretty sure that it happened because the independent variable caused the change in the dependent variable. So you reach statistical significance. Now, stats people, you're probably going to know a little bit more than this. It's going to be a little bit different of a thing, but that's all right. All right, if we're looking at a distribution that ends up with something like this, so we don't have a nice bell-shaped curve, the mean, the median, the mode are in the same spot, there is a word for that, and the word for that is, I'm hoping you're all screaming it, skewed. If my three measures of central tendency, my mean, median, and mode, aren't going to be all in the same spot, in this case they're not. The mode the most, the median right there, and median is going to be the middleist, and then the mean, the arithmetic average, they're all in different spots. So that's going to be all sorts of messed up. You do not get what you would consider the nice normal bell-shaped curve. It's all over the place. It is skewed. Okay, so my timer's telling me I'm at 10, almost 10 and a half minutes. So I'm going to stop based on what the district's telling me time-wise. Please let me know if you think you can handle me doing longer amounts. I think some of you seem like you're doing great. Some of you are just a little behind, but I know you're with me here. Have a good one. Hope the weather's good. We'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye-bye.